A very good morning to all of you, our senior officials, our honorary consuls, our guests, stakeholders in government, and the real reason we are here, Uganda's media. You are all welcome to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs for this media briefing. My name is Margaret Kafero, and I'm Head of Public Diplomacy in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. We shall start today's program with a prayer, which I guess I will read. Can we humble ourselves and pray? Almighty God, who in your infinite wisdom and providential goodness has appointed the leaders at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs for the welfare of society and the just government of humanity, we beseech you to look upon with your abundant favor these your servants, whom you have been pleased to call to the performance of such important trusts in Uganda. Let your blessing descend upon them here assembled, and grant that they may, as in your presence, treat and consider all matters that shall come under their deliberation in so just and faithful a manner as to promote your honor and glory and to advance the good of those whose interests you have committed to their charge. In your mighty name we pray. Amen. Once again, we welcome you all to this media briefing on the upcoming Pearl of Africa Business Forum and Expo, slated for the 23rd to the 24th of April 2025 in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. And we would like to begin by inviting Ambassador Eli Kamahunje, who has been overseeing our economic and commercial diplomacy program, to make some welcome remarks to our guests. Ambassador Eli.
Madam Margaret, our moderator today, our Chief of Protocol, Ambassador Charles Sentongo, also representing the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, His Excellency Dr. Betty Bigombe, Uganda's High Commissioner to Malaysia and the 7 other Asian countries, the Malaysian Consul, Honorary Consul to Uganda, Alhaji Kajimu, heads of government departments, heads of departments, Ministry of Foreign Affairs present, distinguished members of the Fourth Estate, the media houses, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, you are all most welcome. Today we are here for this media launch of the upcoming Pearl of Africa Business Forum and the Expo, focusing on tourism, agriculture, ICT, mineral and oil and gas, being organized by our Uganda mission in Malaysia, which is part of their implementation of the economic and commercial diplomacy assignment that has been given to them by the government of Uganda. And we are glad that this is part of the assignment to help contribute to the tenfold growth strategy which the government of Uganda has put in place in the National Development Plan 4. Particularly this tenfold growth aims at growing the economy from the current 49.5 billion to 500 billion United States dollars in the next 15 years. And the aim is to ensure that it achieves higher household incomes and also creating employment and creating sustainable socioeconomic transformation of this country, Uganda. So we are grateful, Your Excellency, that you have found it right to arrange this event at such a time. When we look at the objectives that you have set for this event, the aim is really to implement the 4 areas that you have been assigned as missions abroad. From the 8 objectives that were set, the 4 were given to the missions, and these are agro-industrialization, the tourism development, mineral development, including oil and gas, science and technology and innovation, which have been termed as ATMs, and these are the 4 pillars that have been selected that will be major pillars to contribute to the achieving of the tenfold growth. Now, therefore, we are glad that you have found it correct, and when one reads the objective of why you are arranging this, they rhyme clearly with the 4 tenfold growth, the four ATMs. And also we find one thing that Your Excellency, this also is going beyond and targeting even the other areas that have also been seen as pillars that will also help to achieve the 4 pillars, like infrastructure development, which you have included in your objectives. I will therefore now call on you, Your Excellency, to come and speak to the Ugandans, highlight these areas that you have identified for them to this event for them to participate in, and highlight, you'll be able to tell them what you expect from them and how they can work with you to ensure that they achieve the best for Uganda, to achieve the socio-economic transformation for this country, Uganda. I want to thank you very much once again.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you, that's better. Ambassador Sentongo, representing the Permanent Secretary, the Honorary Consul General of Malaysia to Uganda, Honorary Consul General Barbara Mulwana for the Kingdom of Thailand, Ambassador Eli, and the media houses that are here. First and foremost, I would like to warmly welcome you to this launch of the media campaign. Excuse me. I prefer to call it media campaign because I expect you to educate Uganda about what we are doing overseas. There's very little knowledge in the public about what embassies do besides bilateral relations, because economic commercial diplomacy is a new thing that has been introduced, and therefore the public needs to know what exactly is going on. As we continue to strengthen Uganda's position as a key investment destination in Africa, we must explore and capitalize on the opportunities these rapidly growing economies present, that is Malaysia, Thailand, Indonesia, Vietnam, Cambodia, Myanmar, and the Philippines, Brunei as well, because Uganda Embassy or High Commission is based in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, but is accredited to 8 other countries from Malaysia. Uganda High Commission in Kuala Lumpur is pleased to present the Uganda-Malaysia Business Forum Expo. This is a strategic initiative aimed at strengthening economic and commercial diplomacy between Uganda and Malaysia, as well as other countries of accreditation. This forum is designed to foster deeper bilateral relations, facilitate trade and investment, and create avenues for mutual economic growth. Let me say in here that there's very little knowledge of Africa in general in Southeast Asia. I'm not talking about India and China, but Southeast Asia. There's very little information. In fact, they even think Africa is one country. They don't even think it's a continent. And they don't go out to Africa to for trade and other economic activities. In fact, to most of them, when you talk of Africa, they'll tell you, oh, isn't fighting going on? When you say fighting is going on in Sudan, that means there's insecurity in Uganda as well. So part of the effort is to unlock the mindset of these countries, so that they can open up and start doing business in Uganda. Of course, they know the Middle East countries. As part of Uganda's broader economic and commercial diplomacy agenda, this initiative aligns with government programs developed by line ministries to attract foreign direct investment, to enhance job creation, and promote key sectors, including agro-industrialization, tourism development, mineral development, oil and gas, agriculture and value addition, as well as IT, innovation, and collaboration. Through this platform, Uganda seeks to showcase its vast investment potentials while engaging Malaysian and regional investors, entrepreneurs, policymakers in discussions that will unlock our new business opportunities. The forum will provide a unique networking environment to explore partnerships in key sectors that drive Uganda's economic transformation. In here, it's not just going to be exhibition that we always see in places with beautiful dancers, but we intend to bring investors from Uganda, the business fraternity, entrepreneurs, the private sector, to meet their counterparts in Malaysia and other countries in the neighborhood that will participate in the event. And that is organizing B2B, that is business to business, organizing government to government, government to businesses, because they also need to be informed about the policies that we have on investment or manufacturing. So it is sharing of information. So it's not just lecturing and showing dances and our beautiful artwork, but it is getting business to business, business people to meet, share ideas, and we hope at the end of it all, they will have some memorandum of understanding signed and to be followed up with implementation to meet the objectives. In preparation for the event, we have held many meetings with senior government officials, chambers of commerce, investors, entrepreneurs, the private sector, to be able to attract them to attend this important event. Additionally, this year, Malaysia assumes the chairmanship of Asian region, presenting a great opportunity for Uganda to strengthen its economic ties with Southeast Asia. Therefore, we must intensify our engagement with Asian member states to maximize trade and investment benefits during Malaysia's tenure as chair of Asian countries. Asian countries are 10 countries. Virtually, the embassy in Malaysia covers all except Singapore, which is covered by our embassy in India. Asian country, when we talk about Asian countries, we're talking about a population of more than 800 million people. And therefore, it's a huge market in the region. And that is what we intend to exploit, explore and exploit to transform our economy. So the investment potentials in Asia and opportunities for collaboration. At the moment, Uganda is currently a steady economic growth, is on a steady economic growth trajectory, with its GDP projected to expand by 6.5% in the coming years. However, our long-term goal as a country is to expand Uganda's GDP to 500 million US dollars by 2040. With a young and dynamic population, abundant natural resources, and strategic location within East Africa, Uganda is an attractive investment hub. To unlock our full economic potential, we must forge strong partnerships with investors from Malaysia, Thailand, Indonesia, and Vietnam. We've selected those four because those have the biggest economies in the region, primarily to engage them in these sectors. So, as it has already been mentioned by Ambassador Eli, agriculture and value addition is a key sector in Uganda. I don't want to tell you what you already know, because 73% of our population are engaged in agriculture. But most of our production, agriculture, is subsistence. So we need to increase production, our production in agriculture. Well, agriculture remains the backbone of Uganda's economy, contributing significantly to employment and GDP. Our high-value crops such as coffee, tea, cotton, palm oil, ginger, cocoa, and fresh produce like fresh flowers, fruits, and fruits are in high demand in the Asian market. In fact, take a country like Malaysia, they import fruits and vegetables from New Zealand and Australia, which are 7 hours flight, 7.5 hours flight more. So these produce I've just read out are in high demand in the Asian market. By partnering with investors from Asian countries, we can enhance our value addition and agro-processing, increase productivity, and expand exports, creating more income opportunities for Ugandan farmers. That said, I also want to say that just before I came home, I had a meeting with the Minister of Agriculture, Malaysian Minister of Agriculture, who was telling me, I was impressed, first of all, by his knowledge of Uganda and the trade we have. And he was telling me, currently, our trade in coffee, we lose almost $3.70 per kilo because of the mode that we have adopted of selling our coffee, and that can be corrected. So it is also an opportunity to learn from other countries to get the most out of our produce. Oil and gas development. Uganda is on the verge of becoming a major oil producer in the region of East Africa, with vast reserves in the Albertine Graben region. Malaysia and Indonesia, with their advanced expertise in petroleum exploration, refinery operations, and energy infrastructure present great potential for investment partnerships in upstream, downstream, and oil waste management for sustainability. Collaboration in this sector will, with companies like Petronas in Malaysia, Pertamina in Indonesia, will not only bring in capital investments, but also create jobs and development in the energy sector. Then tourism. Uganda is a home to breathtaking landscapes, the source of the River Nile, rare mountain gorillas, and diverse array of wildlife. Uganda has a lot of potential in this area. Last year in December, we brought a number of tour operators. We brought 27 tour operators from the region, and they were very impressed by what we do. Now, if we can partner with them, Malaysia alone, for example, last year, received 35 million tourists. Thailand last year received 27 million tourists. Indonesia, which is a much bigger country, received even more tourists. So these are tourist destination countries. And if we can tap on their tourism industry to attract their tourists, but also to share information and learn from them how they have developed the industry to a level that can attract so many visitors in 1 year. Then we have mineral development. Uganda has vast mineral resources. To mention a few: gold, copper, rare earth minerals, and phosphates. However, these remain largely untapped. Investors from the Asian countries have already expressed interest in exploration, extraction, and value addition, which will significantly contribute to Uganda's industrialization agenda. Then, of course, ICT. Uganda's ICT sector is one of the fastest growing in Africa, with rapid advancements in fintech, artificial intelligence, and digital transformation in Malaysia, Thailand, and Vietnam. Our startups and tech entrepreneurs have an opportunity to engage in strategic partnerships that will boost innovation, attract investment, and expand markets. Uganda remains committed to supporting startup-friendly policies and digital infrastructure development. Why we should strengthen our trade relations with Asian countries. I've already read out the names of the countries. But let me single out the four: Malaysia, Thailand, Indonesia, and Vietnam are among the most dynamic countries in Southeast Asia, experiencing strong industrial growth and trade expansion. Malaysia, for instance, has maintained stable economic climate on an average of GDP growth rate of 4.5 to 5.5, while Indonesia, the largest economy in Southeast Asia, is projected to grow by 5.2% annually. Thailand and Vietnam continue to experience robust economic growth driven by manufacturing, technology, and exports. In fact, if we look at the trade between Malaysia and Uganda, Malaysia exports goods worth $250 million US, while Uganda exports goods worth $105 million US dollars. So you can see the imbalance. This event is meant to go beyond what, not just to reach 250 million US million dollars, but we're looking at, if we tap the potentials properly, we're looking at billions of dollars. So call for action. Our economic future lies in global collaboration and ability to tap into international markets. I encourage Ugandan entrepreneurs, investors, and business leaders to actively engage with potential partners from these countries. But the media has a big role to play in this. We need to work in partnership, because if you publicize the right information with the right data, we are likely to attract these people. Not only that, but if you publicize and get as many Ugandans to participate at this event, they will get useful information, or maybe, and even be able to identify partners with which they can work together, because Asia at the moment, especially Southeast Asia, is where money is, not necessarily Europe, like we always think. To achieve this, I call upon ministries, various ministries, of course, our private sector, business community, entrepreneurs, to participate in this forum. And I call upon you, the media, to help us mobilize our people to support the event. I don't think I mentioned the date. It is scheduled to take place in April 2025 from 23rd to 24th. Additionally, the Business Forum will feature a mega Uganda pavilion showcasing Uganda's agricultural, tourism endowment to international investors. This will be an unparalleled opportunity to promote Uganda's investment climate and create lasting trade partnerships. Uganda High Commission in Kuala Lumpur is fully committed to facilitating business connections, trade linkages, and investment collaborations that align with Uganda's development goals. This is the time for Uganda businesses to seize the opportunity available in Asia and establish international partnerships and drive our economic transformation. I think Southeast Asia is ready. We also need to be ready. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you very much, High Commissioner. Our Permanent Secretary, Mr. Vincent Bajire, will be represented by Ambassador Charles Sentongo. He has a few remarks for us.
Thank you, Margaret. Thank you, Margaret, and your team. Ambassador Betty Bigombe, Haj Habib Kajimu, the Honorable Consul of Malaysia to Uganda, Miss Barbara Murwana, the Honorable Consul of Thailand to Uganda, Ambassador Eric Kamahunje, the Coordinator of Commercial Diplomacy in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, colleagues from various ministries, departments, and agencies here, but most important, distinguished members of the media. Let me first of all warmly welcome you and thank you so much for taking time to come and attend this launch stroke media briefing on the planned Pearl of Africa Business Forum and Expo scheduled for 23rd, 25th, spearheaded by our mission in Kuala Lumpur. Allow me to commend and thank Ambassador Bigombe for her tireless efforts in advancing Uganda's economic and commercial relations with Malaysia and the other 8 countries she has mentioned here. This is in addition to other areas of bilateral cooperation beyond the economic and commercial realm. As we have all heard, we gather here for the launch of the Business Forum and Expo, whose details we have all heard. It has taken painstaking work, lots of efforts, and as you have heard, the major goal of the forum and the Expo is to advance Uganda's commercial and economic relations in the Asian and Pacific countries. This is an opportunity for us to supplement and find additional sources of business partners to the traditional partners that you are all aware. You are all aware that there are countries which are synonymous with Uganda's trade, Uganda's investment. So the forum and the Expo provide an opportunity for us to take advantage, make collaborative efforts, and seek opportunities for the advancement of our nation. It's going to be tough. We have all been to and organized expos, but the hard question usually we ask, what comes thereafter? I think as Ambassador Bigomba said, the mission, the ministry, we are doing the pioneering work, but the heartbeat will be in following up those opportunities. We are all aware of the efforts that have been done in the past in some of these countries, most recent Vietnam, when His Excellency visited Vietnam, I think 3-4 years ago, 2022, November. We made a lot of engagements, both bilateral in the areas of commerce and government. We went with a number of businessmen. The visit was publicized, but we're yet to realize fruits in terms of trade and sources of investment from Vietnam, if I can give us an example. So we appeal to the business community and other stakeholders to pay more effort to the Business Forum and the Expo, and to say that this is an opportunity to expand new frontiers for their business in the same way as you heard from the ambassador, to get new partners in those areas. As a nation, Uganda, we are happy that we have very strong relations with Malaysia. If I can start with Malaysia, we have worked together under the framework of the Commonwealth. We have worked together under the framework of Smart Partnership. I think it has been held here in Uganda twice, and whose goal is the enhancement and the promotion of business within the Commonwealth countries and other partners. As again I've said, and of course, a number of these countries, we have also we are collaborating very closely under the South-South Cooperation. You all saw when we hosted here the G77 plus China, one of the items on the agenda besides peace and security was to increase the economic and commercial cooperation with those countries. And lastly, the broader one was the Non-Aligned Movement Summit, where again all these efforts were amplified. So colleagues from the private sector, the media, and also as the Minister of Foreign Affairs, we have tremendous opportunities in Malaysia and other Asian countries, ASEAN, let's call it Asian countries and Pacific, which if we made use of, they could help in enhancing our trade promotion as we have had, attracting additional tourists to Uganda, having additional investments. Because as you know, if you went around now, I think there is a skew in terms of the major sources of investments from the region. We feel that additional sources of investment from these countries, I think would be an added bonus to our economy as we all strive to modernize the country. The details have been highlighted by our ambassador, and we call upon the media to publicize the event and also to use the networks of our colleagues, like the honorary consuls of Thailand and Malaysia. The beauty with them that they are representing their countries, but also they are eminent business people. So we look forward to their efforts. As usual, you see for them, they look at profit. So we'd like them to encourage companies and other entities there and tell them that Uganda is ready for business. We have tremendous opportunities which have to be exploited. As a ministry, we stand ready to continue buttressing these efforts, to continue coordinating all the MDAs and the private sector to ensure that these and other opportunities indeed come to fruition. We have our key mandate here now is the promotion of commercial and economic relations with the rest of the world. We feel that this is the right thing, and that's why we are focusing our resources and energy on that. Of course, not forgetting the other aspect of peace and security, because one of the attracting aspects of our country, like Ambassador Bigombe said, is the peace and security being enjoyed here. No businessman wants to take his business to an area which is item number 1 on CNN. So we feel that as a nation, the peace and stability that has been ushered in is at the core of our attractiveness. The policies that the government has put in place to improve the business environment are key, but also we as the players, we endeavor to continue with our efforts, of course, working with our embassies and our partners like the representatives of different countries here to ensure that all the efforts that are geared at making these forums and Expo a success bring fruits to our nation. The dates have been announced, 23rd, 25th, 23rd, 24th February. I'm talking of also when they're supposed to come back. Kuala Lumpur is such a good place, and we look forward to all of you participating, amplifying and publicizing the event. And with those few remarks, and with your permission, it's now my distinct honor to launch the Business Forum and Expo, slated for 23rd, 24th, launched. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Ambassador Sentongo. Before going into the question and answer session, I think our representatives of Thailand and Malaysia may have some comments to make. From the other side, Haj Kachum.
Bismillah. I want to first thank my sister, Ambassador Betty, for this really wonderful arrangement. And thank the Minister of Foreign Affairs for having this wonderful department of public diplomacy, which includes foreign trade and businesses, which is the most important work of any nation on earth. If a country has no business relationship with other countries in the world, that country is destined to die of poverty. So, while we have many missions abroad that represent us as Ugandans, and we are very proud of them, the most important task of any embassy is to care about our trade and business relationship with any country. The importance of that can be explained very simply. My sister here is saying that we are looking forward to taking our GDP to 500 billion in 15 years. What is the population of Uganda? Currently, we are 47, almost 48 million people. What is the population of little Singapore? Under Malaysia, just below Malaysia there? 5.9 million people. 5, like the population of Kampala. And Kampala is even more. Kampala during the day is about 7 million, 0.5. During the night is about 4.5. Singapore as a country, 5 million, 0.9. Let's say 6 million. What is the GDP of Singapore today? $501 billion, which we are striving to reach in 15 years, we the 47 million people of Uganda. Singapore is a city-state, just below Malaysia. I drive from my house in Kuala Lumpur to Singapore in 3.5 hours, driving by car. It is a city-state. It has that kind of magnitude of a GDP. We are striving, and our plan is, if we don't get derailed by political problems and we don't go back into our bad habits of fighting civil wars, which have no value at all to our people, we are striving to reach that in 15 years from now. I'm a 70-year-old man. 15 years, I may not be with you. I may have gone, like my president said, to meet the Lord up there. Will I ever see Uganda at 500 billion? Of course. Inshallah, God willing, but I highly doubt. Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, which has got 34 million people, their current GDP is almost 400 billion. There are 34 million people. $399.7 billion now, currently. Last year's trade, external trade, was $287 billion. That's the money they earned from trading with other countries outside. With Uganda, it is 105 out of that. So this task here, which my sister has done with the help of the Minister of Foreign Affairs, is the most important issue in your lives, all of you, and in the lives of all our people, than the election in Kawempe. Trading and making money so that you can look after your children. Your children want from you, how much money are you bringing home? Daddy, not how many votes. As the media, I think this is a media event, isn't it? The media, your task is to put this at the front page of Uganda's newspapers, so that every businessman in Kampala who is walking around not knowing what is going to trade tomorrow or today knows the opportunities that are there outside waiting for them. Please publicize what Uganda can sell and make money instead of fighting on politics every single day. No income comes out of fighting in elections in Kawimpa and anywhere. The only income that comes to Ugandans is from trading and making business, making money. That's what your family expects from a responsible father and responsible mother. That's how you'll pay for the education of your children, to put them on the right pedestal if you want them to be leaders of the world. Look at Elon Musk. He is now the most important man in President Trump's new cabinet. But who is Elon Musk? Elon Musk is a businessman. He's the owner of the Starlink. He's the owner of SpaceX. He is a trillionaire. And does he care what Trump even thinks of him? He doesn't, because he's unsackable. If Trump sacks Elon Musk, he loses. Elon Musk will go on and make more money. It is making money which will make Uganda a most important country on earth. It is the most beautiful one on earth. I have been in over 100 countries. I've never seen beauty like what you have here in Uganda. But if it is a dirty country, if you have no streets, if you have no roads, if your roads are full of potholes, who wants to come and see you? How will you attract tourists to come in your country when you have no public transport that can be relied on? I have a friend who came from Dubai, talked to me about business. And while he was waiting for me, what I liked about this wonderful man, you cannot believe what this man did. He took a bus from here and went to Ankole. By bus, he took a bus. One of these business buses on the road, and he drove there. And when he told me, I said, how did you think of that? He said, because your country is so beautiful. I couldn't stay here in Kampala. I wanted to go, I didn't know anybody. So I went, I asked people, and they told me, and he took a bus. Can you imagine what people can do? Now, in order to achieve this wonderful trade, you know what we have to do, all of us Ugandans. We need to be good people. We need to be nice people. We have to behave nicely to other people. If we behave nicely, countries will make our visit to them to do business easy. You can go to Malaysia, you don't need a visa. This wonderful sister of mine has been doing a great job of giving us a visa to Thailand, as was one of her biggest beneficiaries. She was always giving me 6-month multiple entry visa to Thailand. So it is important that our people at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs work to remove the impediments of visas. Visas were invented by white people to keep us apart from each other. I cannot believe that up to today, there are still other African countries where you need a visa to go to. For what reason, for God's sake? Anyway, I don't have much time. There is so much that can be said. But there is nothing more important than the trade of Uganda. Look and care and publicize the trade of Uganda. Everybody will benefit. Thank you very much for...
Your Excellency, Ambassador Betty Bigombe, Minister of Protocol, now sitting in as PS for Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Eli Kamau that one. My brother, the Honorary Consul for Malaysia and Uganda. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for coming. I am not going to add too much because a lot of it has been said. I suppose somebody sitting out there is going to ask why. Why should I go? And Ambassador Bigombe has been very clear on why, as well as all the other speakers. We go to these forums to de-risk our businesses. We go to these forums to understand when to avoid. Because if I go to somebody and I talk to them and I want to go into the business of tourism, I want to understand where the challenges have been and I want to avoid them. And by doing so, my business will grow, I will employ more people, and most importantly, I'll make more money. I'll make more money. Is it on? So the reason why we go to these forums is completely a selfish reason, but in order to get us, our businesses to work. We all hear about IT. We have a young population, they understand about IT. Now, our government people need to go to these places where they have policies and regulations have already been done so that we don't have to spend the time. I think the Honorary Consul was talking about the 15 years. I would like him to enjoy those fruits. The only way we can cut that time is if our government leaders can go and see what other governments are doing and then bring those policies so that we don't have to reinvent them. We can get faster to AI. We can get faster AI policies. We can get anything that we're talking about if it's in IT. Ambassador talked about agriculture. This is an agriculture country. Now, there are products and produce that I think the consulate was talking about, things like avocado, things like cassava. These countries have actually been at it for a long time. But if we go there, we learn, and when we learn, we improve, and when we improve, we get better, and we make more money, because that's what we're all here for. So all I would say is I really encourage everybody, like the ambassador was saying, with all the reasons. The call for action is there. The reason is very clear. Go out and de-risk your business. Go out and learn. And then go out and then make money and employ more people, get more people off the streets, and grow this country. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We would now like to move to Q&A. Anyone has a question? If you're a member of the media, please introduce yourself and which media house before you launch into the question. If you are a stakeholder, please say as much. Thank you.
Thank you very much. My name is Dan Ayebale from NBS Television. I want to thank you for this Expo, the upcoming Expo, and of course for the efforts in Malaysia and all the other countries that you represent as in, Ambassador. My question, before the question, is to thank you also for the efforts to repatriate Ugandans who have been stuck in Myanmar. And I also want to, based on that, to ask, especially if we are talking business relations, we also we have to talk about the safety of Ugandans in those countries, especially since these are our brothers. So if it pleases you, please, if you can update us on the newer efforts to repatriate more of them who we know are still stuck there. I think that will be of much interest as we go into this expo. Thank you very much.
So, Ambassador Bigombe, okay, I will. Ambassador Betty Bigombe, my sister Barbara Mrwana, my good friend Habib Kajimo, Ambassador Sentong, and everyone here. My name is George Inholo. I wear many hats, but this time round, I'm wearing the hat of being a director at the National Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Just so you know, everything that those panelists have been talking about, they all fall under our umbrella. That I can guarantee you, because our organization is there basically to promote and protect the interests of the business community. And just so that everyone knows, it is the private sector in this country and many parts of the world which is the engine for growth. And that's the reason we are here. So this discussion for us, it is landing on fertile ground. Those of you who may want to know, we have a membership of over 5,000 members in different sectors. If you talk about tourism, we are there. We talk about hospitality, we are there. We talk about minerals, we are there. ICT, agriculture, we are there. So my concern, though, is in the aspect of how do we package this to ensure that it is relevant to our audience or our constituency. I'm concerned because the time factor is not in our favor. Today we are midway into the month, and next month is when this expo starts, which is 23rd to 24th. Literally, we have 1 month to go. So all what we are going to do as a Chamber of Commerce is to package whatever we've learned from here, and maybe that we are yet to learn, so that we can package it and become relevant to our stakeholders, so that we can really fast track this opportunity. Colleagues, you see, when Ambassador, my colleague Habib Kajimi spoke about Singapore having a GDP of over $500 billion, and Uganda, we are 46 million people, and we are struggling to even reach maybe 50 billion US. It spells an incredible opportunity. Let's partner, let's trade with the people who have the money already. So this is a typical window of opportunity, and I really like to thank the organizers of this for making this possible. For us as the Chamber of Commerce, we shall do all it takes to ensure that we can mobilize our members to really tap into this opportunity, and many others to come. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Do we have any last questions? One question over there. Herbert, please.
Thank you very much, and respect to the entire house. Derek Mawanda. I'm one of the original or first investors to establish an entity in Vietnam. It's where I'm based. And I wanted to echo out two things. We really need to package on what are we offering. We are going for an expo, we are going for an exhibition. What is our value proposition? That must be very, very clear. Secondly, our soft skills as a public or as a country is lacking. Some of these countries are very strict to the dot. You need to follow the systems, the procedures. So it is very, very urgent to instill that culture in the population and the business community that's growing. Then the last one is there is need for a deliberate government effort to negotiate visa relaxing. Some of the countries, like for instance in Vietnam, to get a visa lately is very, very challenging. I was there when the head of state visited. They signed a bilateral relationship on visa exemptions for diplomats and official passport holders. But until today, it's not yet sorted. So, and even the latest update as of yesterday, the government of Vietnam has changed the system. For you to get a visa, you must have a contract. What are you going to do? Whom are you going to deal with? So also back here, we need to profile our companies and our businesses. Why are you traveling? For what? So to avoid people getting stranded over there. I thank you, and I look forward to contributing to this event. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We can take some answers from our panelists. High Commissioner.
I need to sit up like this. Well, thank you very much for the questions that have been raised. I will attempt to answer some of them, but I'll leave some of them to Ambassador Sentongo or the honorary consul generals who are here with us. The first question is about Ugandans who are at the moment stuck in Myanmar. I will start by suggesting this or recommending this. We must make a lot of effort to prevent human trafficking to these foreign countries. I'm aware of the number of youth who do not have employment. I'm aware of what they are going through, and therefore they're very desperate, and any fictitious job offers, they'll jump on it. But we need, and the media has a big role to play in this, to publicize what is going on in Myanmar. Because basically these people are taken, they're given job offers, they're interviewed, and these jobs, so-called jobs, are advertised. They use TikTok, they use Instagram, they use Facebook, they use the social media generally. And they make them look very attractive until they get there. Then they realize they've been duped, and it's real slavery going on in there. So I'll go to the question now. And their agents are here. We've profiled some of them, but unfortunately, the agencies who were supposed to investigate them, unfortunately, they're not doing their job in that area. The question of the current number that is stuck in Myanmar, let me give you the background. There are 31 Ugandans in Myanmar. What happens is that these scamming centers where they're allured to go into, they're spread out in different locations. There could be one in Tororo, there could be another one in Arua, another one in Moroto. So they're not in one center. And they have about 120,000 people in there. And there are all kinds of nationalities. Actually, the largest, although these scamming centers are owned by Chinese, and they make $10 billion a year, but the majority of the victims are from China. Now, recently, about 3 weeks ago, and they're operating in rebel-controlled areas. They're not under government. We've been pushing the government of China and the governments of China and Thailand to do something about it, because the scamming centers are owned by Chinese. The access to go into Myanmar is through Thailand. So we ambassadors whose citizens are who are victims, we put a lot of pressure on the two governments. And consequently, the rebels who are fighting government in Myanmar decided, because they also realize it's ruining their reputation, to go and open up the gates. And so over 15,000 people or victims managed to escape. Now the situation is, at that time, the government of Thailand kind of closed the border and said, we've had enough of this, because all of us are crying to them about this problem. Tuesday last week, we had another meeting, and whereby the government of Thailand gave us standard operation procedure that we need to follow. First of all, there are too many to let them into Thailand immediately. But even then, they have to go through some kind of screening. The screening is carried out because it is believed that not all of them are victims of trafficking. And therefore, they want to establish the truth. Some of you may have heard about the 24 that we managed to rescue and brought back home. So there's that screening, and the government of Thailand said they don't have the capacity to screen more than 300 per day. And even screening the 300 per day, because we went through the screening process last year when we had the 24 Ugandans. The screening process is long and they do not have the capacity. So they only allow 300 people per day out of the 15,000. And they only designate countries at a time. So currently, they've started with Asian countries. That's the Philippines, Sri Lankans, Pakistanis, Indians, name it. So they've been given on up to the end of May, those Asian countries. China, because there were many in number, their government chartered an aircraft to take them back home immediately, unlike the other nationalities. So now what we have managed to do is, and Myanmar, the government has also given us the list, SOP, roadmap on how to rescue our citizens. But it's not one day thing. That the process is, again, screening. You have to get the list from, we submit the list to the government of Myanmar. They do their own screening. Then they send back to the government of Thailand so that, for example, we've applied for the Ugandans to be screened so that they can come out immediately. The catch also is that Thai government will only allow them to stay in their country for no more than 2 days, so that we must have air tickets ready for them when they come out. So we're waiting for our turn. Uganda has not been given a date. I would say virtually all African countries have not been given a date to repatriate their citizens. And at the moment, they're being looked after by those rebels. The rebels are also saying they do not have resources to take care of so many people. So we are also working with some NGOs and the entire military. So far, I've agreed with a military general of Thailand to remove Ugandans from the camps where the rebels are, closer to the border, in a place called Mesot. And that is also the access route when they're being smuggled. And also when they come out, that is where the screening center is. And also trying to mobilize, get the help of NGOs and IOM to provide air tickets. So the challenges are many. The process is slow. We need a lot of patience. But the most important thing is, I repeat, prevention, as opposed to coming in when they have already been smuggled to Myanmar. Thank you. Question number 2. Sorry, I took too long.
May I just add something?
Yes, please. Yes, this is the honorary.
No, not
Right,
because of
absolutely.
that. For all the people who are here who are young, I don't think you remember what Ambassador Betty Bigombe is a very tough lady. I don't know if anybody remembered when she went and sat face to face with Kony. She's still the same person who goes and sits face to face with the Myanmar rebels. So we have to commend her, and I think all the government has to do is to support her so we can get those, and then let us make sure that anybody who's thinking about going to do this, please stop. But Ambassador, thank you so much for your effort.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Question number 2 is about how you package this. First of all, we've already had a meeting with the chairman of Uganda Chamber of Commerce. The meeting took place only yesterday. Fully briefed her, but she also asked the same questions. Details First of all, registration will be online. You'll go onto our website and you'll be able to find a link that leads for registration to participate in the exercise. And one of the reasons I'm here is to hear the kind of questions that we have, that our potential participants have, to prepare them adequately. And I'm sending these questions back and forth so that we get answers for them. For example, I've been asked about first of all, Malaysia is visa free as long as you go only for 30 days. More than that, you can be detained. So you don't need visas to go to Malaysia to participate in this event. The market in Malaysia, what we're talking about, what to package, but among others is we're promoting trade. So at the moment, we export coffee, hides and skins, cocoa, honey, and some vanilla. And our vanilla is very popular, and it's really high grade. Coffee, that has been the traditional practice, but the media, please don't quote me on this, it will cause diplomatic row. But Kenyans and Ethiopians are exporting our coffee as their coffee. So we need to correct this as soon as possible. But also other fruits like avocados, fruits. Are they fruits or vegetable? I've never known which. We have to have a debate about that. Somebody has a dictionary to find out. Fruits or vegetables like avocado, they're extremely popular. They're very expensive when you buy them in Malaysia. If we can export them, you'll make a lot of money. So one of my meetings is with Uganda Airlines. If they can participate and eventually fly cargo to Malaysia, that would encourage our exporters, especially those who trade in vegetables and fresh fruits. That would make it so much easier. So we hope Uganda Airlines can participate, will participate, and will be persuaded to initiate flights directly from Entebbe to Kuala Lumpur. Yes, I've already said. Yeah. Oh, visa for Vietnam. Unfortunately, yes, we are negotiating with Vietnam. In fact, right now, for free visas for officials and diplomats from Uganda. The ball is in the court of Vietnam to come back and so that we sign the arrangement. We're doing that with the Philippines and Vietnam. But at the moment, I want to urge you, if you have any business in Vietnam, they're quite strict. And it is important that you give yourself minimum a month before you go to apply for the visa, because the requirements are very, very many. It is, in one sense, a capitalist country, just like Ambassador Sentongo described. I mean, we were there, it's very developed, and but there's some mentality, that's why it is still a socialist republic of Vietnam. So some mentality where they scrutinize everything. For example, we are holding this event, but we're supposed to ask government permission minimum 4 months before we have the event. And it's not just going in and setting up and making arrangement for business forum. So there are restrictions. Thailand, you have the authority right next to me here, so she can say something about it. Indonesia, it's not as strict as Vietnam, for example. And I also want to encourage, but what I didn't mention is we have the Malaysian Expo business in April. Towards end of May, we also have another one in Indonesia, and then that will be followed by Thailand, and then Vietnam. Those are the 4 countries we have selected to have this business forum in. So we will be giving you information as time goes, as we get questions about the event or what the needs are. But I've already mentioned, but the market over there is, the requirements are spices, including chili, macadamia nuts, which I believe, I'm told, many Ugandans are now growing, cotton, fish. Although they're surrounded by water everywhere, the demand on fish is still very high. Fresh flowers, fresh fruits, as I mentioned earlier, timber, and dairy products, as well as tea. So those are some of the exports that they required, not just in Malaysia, but the other countries as well. Something on Chamber of Commerce. Yeah, Chamber of Commerce, I said we met with the chair yesterday. Yeah, I've already explained that Malaysia is visa free for
Yes.
only 30 days, the rest.
No, that's it. Soybeans?
Philippines, we are also negotiating with them, but only for official and diplomatic visas. Free visas for diplomatic and official passports, not for everybody. But the process is ongoing.
Thank you very much. Members of the media, Ms. Mulwanda, was there any question directed at you? I think, no? Members of the media, I hope, are you going to say something? Okay. No.
Ambassador, for giving that clarification on the status of our people in Myanmar, and they will also, as a minister, want to add our voices, thanking you for the efforts you did in bringing them back, and also our partners. With respect to the issue of visas, let me also welcome Mr. Mawanda to the ministry. He was one of the key people when we went to Vietnam, and I should say they are doing tremendous work. The Honorary Consul of Malaysia say that sometimes our stories focus on politics, but I want you to interest yourself on what our fellow Ugandans are doing, especially in the business sector in some of those countries. When we were there, they were at the forefront of organizing a business forum, and they were able to articulate the opportunities Ugandans can take advantage of, and also they brought on board their Vietnamese counterparts. So we thank you so much. We just want to assure you that we are still working through the embassy in Dar es Salaam and the Honorary Consul here, Mr. Mlenga, to ensure that the visa issue, actually the delays in processing visas, as the ambassador said, that they are really addressed. The biggest obstacle we get as we make headway making a case for Ugandans, then some young people, some people there, when we are given this opportunity, then people are going for things other than business coming. So as the ambassador said, let's treat the problem at the source here, so that the visas are applied for by people who are meant to go for business. That's what we really want to see. But as a ministry, working with our stakeholders, Ministry of Internal Affairs, we are working hard to ensure that we have this sorted. I just want to say that as a ministry, once again, we are very grateful and very thankful for the ambassador and the entire team for the efforts. And to say that we look forward to your continued cooperation with us. In terms of packaging, I should say that we are going to continue working with the Chamber of Commerce and other stakeholders like Uganda Investment Authority to narrow down the sectors which your members can look at. Today we have talked of the broad sectors, but we want to, the team led by Ambassador Kamahunji and the team from Kuala Lumpur are going to narrow down based on the responses we'll be getting from the questionnaires from the people who are filling, to be able to flash them out to your colleagues and members so that we take a focused team which is going to help also in organizing the business to business group. Because as the ambassador said, in addition to the wider forum, the key output there or the key process there is going to be matchmaking the different business players. So it's very critical that this information ambassador comes out easily so that the members of the chamber, UIA, are able to identify them. And the other stakeholders like the private sector foundation. Today, other stakeholders are not here, but our work continues. Ambassador Kamahunji is in touch with all those agencies. But also to say that we are going to continue coordinating this process so that come 23rd, 24th, we have a successful forum. So we thank you so much as a team. Let me hand over to Margaret.
Thank you very much, members of the media. I hope your visit with us today has been worthwhile. You came for one story. I think you've gotten several. I hope you do not forget which story we are hoping you shall focus on. They're both good, but if you do not forget that this is about the Expo, we will be grateful. Thank you very much. As you leave, please, we've got some refreshments at the back. We're going to have our panelists stand in front of the backdrop. I believe once we finish the photographs, there are members of Luganda-speaking media houses that had requested to speak to our panelists. You'll be able to approach them, get your sound bites. After that, I know you're all rushing to file for your lunchtime news, so let's do this as quick as we can. Photograph, please. We shall take a stand. Ambassador Sentongo, High Commissioner.